a different feeling, a different space, a new air. This is the fresh breath of the literary region. Ladies and gentlemen, here we are shooting yet another episode of our Transformative Toastmasters episode, and we are in the literary region. We are in the terrific coffee space in Bonamusa di Douala. And I came right away here because there are amazing Toastmasters that said yes, 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 yes to my call and said, come to the literary and we're going to make this happen. And that is why I'm here. And they have honored me with their presence. I'm going to start with one very interesting guest who is going to be in this episode today. As you all know, we are at Terrific Coffee. So as you're clocking off from your day, maybe from work or anywhere, take a cup of coffee and join us as we sip and enjoy this new episode. I'll be diving into introducing the guest of today. Get ready for him because he's having a whole lot to share with us. Stay tuned. I'll be back in a few seconds. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are here today with an amazing guest, a wonderful person that I met at a Toastmasters International Contest. And that's going to be the topic of today that we're going to be discussing with this guest on our table today. And his name is Toastmaster Thierry LOBE. Good evening, Toastmaster Thierry LOBE.
Good evening, Ato. How you doing?
I'm doing so fine, and thank you very much for gracing this podcast with your presence.
Yeah, I think it's a great honor, it's a great pleasure. Welcome to Douala,
Thank you.
to the Litoral region.
The air here feels really different and so welcoming.
Yeah, and welcoming is quite hot, right? I think the weather is a bit hot today, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the terrific coffee taste is quite fresh.
Oh, yeah.
This is quite fresh.
Yeah, cozy, nice, very beautiful. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
A wonderful environment for us to have these wonderful discussions.
Yeah.
I prepared so many questions for you. But I think we'll start with you introducing yourself. So, who is Thierry LOBE?
I'm a Toastmaster. Was because since we're talking about Toastmaster, I'm a Toastmaster. I've been a Toastmaster for 5 years now because I became a Toastmaster in 2019. I joined the Langa Douala Toastmaster Club, and actually was from a reading because I read a book. I actually have a career with a multinational company here in Douala. But alongside that career, I also have a personal business, a communication business. So I was looking for a way to enhance, improve my business. And so I was reading and I wanted to have more information on, improving my communication skills. And so I went on a book and I was reading a book and I read the word Toastmaster. And then I went to do a research on Facebook and I happened to find the Langadora Toastmaster Club, and I joined in 2019.
And from there on, you left from just being a member to being a leader because I think you were leading a club.
Oh yes. I think that last year I was the president of Langadora Toastmaster Club. A beautiful experience, human experience, leadership experience. It's not always easy to lead men. I think that's one of the things I learned about that experience, and it was just normal for me to become the president at the moment because I done a few things in the club. I was the secretary general. I was in charge of recruitment, and I did a few things in the club. And at the end of the day, I said, what's there for me to do? And so I went for the presidency. I became the president, and in Toastmaster, you can only be a president for 1 year. So I did my term, 1 year. Wonderful experience, as I said. Great people you worked with, and you learn to be a leader.
Okay, so throughout your leadership journey, you became the representative of your club at the area level. And from the representative of your club at the area level, I think you won the contest. I also became the representative at the division level.
Yeah.
And from the division level, you won again and became the representative at the international, at the district level.
Yeah.
And is that where your journey ended, at the district level?
Exactly. My journey ended at the district level, and it was a Great experience because we have four contests per year. Four contests per year. Normally we have in February, and also I think in October or maybe in September we have two contests. So I went for the second contest, especially the international public speaking contest, speech contest. And so I won at the club level, I won at the area level, I won at the division level, and then I went to the district level. At the district level is really all the clubs. You know, you have clubs coming from everywhere, all over the place. You know, the best speakers in the districts. You know, I was really part of District 94 at the time. District 94 was basically something like 200 clubs, and people were coming together, and you had the best speakers of those clubs that came together. It was in Nigeria last year, and I couldn't go to Lagos and to Abuja, unfortunately, because I believe that if I was in situ, if I was present there, maybe it would have changed the game, to have changed something. I had to do the context online. I don't think it really favored me, but anyway, I applaud whoever won that contest. But that was a very, very good experience to, you know, to put yourself in a regimen, because actually it was a regimen. I really had to work hard to make sure that I master my speech. I repeat it. I had a coach. I had a Toastmaster that was a coach that was I was actually rehearsing with her, and yeah, so that was great experience. Yeah.
Okay, before this 2024 contest, had you participated in a contest before, in the Toastmasters International?
Oh, definitely many contests at the club level, also at the area level, but I never reached the district level. You know, I always had to go and contest, and at the point in time I stopped. But it was always good, because you may some people may win at once at the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah, some people do that. But I think that it's interesting when you go into contests, to put yourself in contest mode. Because contest mode is a very special mode where you, as I say, you're talking about put yourself in a regimen. You need to think about the story, think about your stage presence, think about the way you're going to deliver your speech, the story behind the speech, the teachings behind the speech. And it's a whole set of emotions that you have to bring to the table in order to influence and to touch the emotions of the other people listening to you when you deliver a speech. And so it's just a great experience. It's a great learning experience, and also a great emotional experience.
Yeah. I can testify to that because I've been a contestant once. I think I was the division winner at the 2022 contest. And I also lost at the district level. But it wasn't really a failure for me. It was more of a learning point.
No.
Because the competition is usually really, really interesting and also very rigorous at that level.
It is.
So I really learned a lot. And I think there's more to come for us when it comes to contests.
Oh, yeah, sure, for sure.
Okay. Another thing I want to know is, what was that speech? What was the message of the speech that won you the division champion?
I think the message of the speech, I remember it was a message on failure. It was a message on failure. And it was actually what we learn through failure. Because sometimes we consider failure, actually the title of the message was Virtue in Failure, question mark, virtue in failure. And so the idea of the message was to say that sometimes we go through failure, we go through tough times, and we feel like everything is lost. We lost ourselves, we've completely lost, and we cannot make it anymore until we meet someone else who's gone through certain things that are even more serious than what you went through, and they were able to come back, to come back to the game and to say that I'm going to fight, and I'm going to make sure that I get back in the game, and I fight for my life. And so the key message was to say that in spite of all the failures that we may have in life, failure should be considered not as a dead sentence for us, but it should be considered as a stepping stone, something to help us to learn and to go further in life. And this reminds me of what Nelson Mandela said. He said that I never lose. Either I win or I learn. So definitely failure is a learning tool. So that was the key message of my speech. Failure is a learning tool.
Okay. What inspired you? Because I believe all Toastmasters, when they're doing any kind of speech contest, for it to be unique and for it to win at a division level with other contestants, it has to come from a personal experience kind of thing, like something you experienced as well. So there must have been some kind of storytelling in your speech.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely, because I think that you and I surely have an history, a story of failure to tell. It can be a family story, it can be a story in school, it can be at work. Personally, it was taken from work and from family where I experienced some failure. And I happened to meet an uncle of mine who also had gone through a very serious business failure. That was a business failure. And in spite of his business failure, he was able to encourage me. He was able to tell me, it's not the end of the world. You can still fight, you can still come back, and you can still make it. And so yes, so I took it from a work experience where I had experienced some failure, and also at the family level. So I put together the two stories, and then I deliver it to the public. And I hope and I know that in those stories I was able to, because that's one of the great thing about speech contests. I've learned, because when you prepare for a speech contest, you learn from the best. So what I did basically was I went to the last 10 years, the winners of the international speech contest in the world, Toastmaster, and I listened to all of their speeches, and I was able to discover some particular features in all those speeches, and I was able to draw from that and to build my own story. So that's what I did, and I was sure that this could have been a winning speech.
Wow. And it was a winning speech.
It was, yeah.
I can remember the emotions I felt when I listened to the story because I was in the hall.
Oh,
I was there, and I think I was doing the evaluation speech contest. I was evaluating a speech. And I was there and I was like, wow, this is great. Not only did you have a good speech, but you had a very nice stage management and all of that. It was really interesting. And what you have shared now has given me a reflective mind on something very important that most of us human beings we tend to forget sometimes because we feel very imperfect, which we are. And sometimes we don't have the courage to encourage others in their own difficulties because we feel like, who am I to stand here and tell you to do better or you can do better when I myself am struggling with my own difficulty. But your mentor, you said you had a mentor who was going through the same thing and who helped you out in your own difficulty, which is how I believe each and every one of us should live as human beings. And I think that's also the kind of culture we have in Toastmasters because we have coaches who themselves are trying to be better, but are also teaching us and mentoring us into becoming better speakers. Well, okay, there's another question I also want to ask. And this question is, how was the district competition, especially on the online level? And what were maybe the things you wished could have happened but didn't happen, or something that you noticed during the competition that you would like to share?
I think the district competition was very tough because I happened to be the winner at the division level at three speech contests. I think it was evaluation contest in French, international speech contest in English, and international speech contest in French. So I was actually featuring on three different contests. So at a point in time, you can become a little bit confused about, because the way it was organized was that the contest was actually coming one after the other. And to be very honest with you, I completely had to put aside the evaluation contest. I did not come. I did not actually go for that speech because I was preparing for, to me, what was the most important to me was actually the two other contests. The international speech contest in French, and most especially the international speech contest is in English. So I was really focused on preparing them. So what I got from it is what I said earlier, is that I think that if I was in the room in Abuja, I am sure that something would have been different, because I'm not sure that the emotions are felt the same way online and in a room. Because I'm not sure that the people in the room felt the emotions the way I wanted to convey them, express them. So I don't think that they really got it the way I wanted to share them. So I felt a little bit disappointed, but that's the game. That's the rule of the game. If you cannot be present in, in the place where the contest is taking place, you do it online. And there are some people who have won online. Yes, I did. Some people have won contests online. But at the end of the day, what I keep from that is just, I want to keep the positive, because it's not, they say that you can only grow through what you go through. I went through an experience, and I grew through that experience. And today I'm ready to go back again, because I think in February we're still going to have the international speech contest at the club level, area level, division level, and I'm going to go for it once again.
Wow. You said something where you were speaking about confusion, something like that, because you were in theory contests.
Yeah.
So, how did you manage? Because, for example, me, I'm so used to focusing on one thing at a time that I feel like if I have two speeches, I'll just jump in between the speeches and I will not have that fluidity to really express myself clearly. So, how were you able to manage it? Like, are you a masterminder, or can you tell me, like, is there something you learned that helped you out in that journey?
I think you mentioned that word. You mentioned the word focus. I think one thing that is very important is the ability to focus on one thing at a time. So I was saying, now I'm going to go for the international speech contests in French. So there was a specific topic I was talking about in my speech. And then for that time, I was focusing only on that speech. And then there was the international speech in English, and then I had to focus on that. It is true that one thing that I really um, didn't like, because I need to put it this way, about that is the fact that normally we were supposed to start the contest at 9, but we finally started at something like 2 p.m. So the waiting time was a bit stressful, because to wait from 9 to 2, to start the contest,
Yeah.
that was quite, that, I don't know, they were in Abuja, they were probably having some issues and everything, but the people online were going through some stress. And I really felt like, okay, I've gone through the stress, but at the end of the day, as I said, the idea is to be focused. You just focus on one thing. You know that you have something, because the speech is what is 5 to 7 minutes. You have 5 to 7 minutes to give it 100%, and to make sure that you deliver the best speech of your life. And so that's what I did. I focused, and I did the best I could to deliver the best speech of my life.
Okay. So I also like to know why you chose to go in for theory contest. Was it something you just felt like you should do, or was it because there were no other contestants, or like is there a specific reason, or were you hoping that with those theory maybe you have a bigger chance of winning, or I just want to know why.
Yeah, it's true. It's true that there's a lot of probability, right? If you have more possibilities, also there's a possibility for you to win here and lose there and everything. But the truth of the matter is that I just feel like speech contests are a great learning opportunity. So it was actually to learn. Because when you decide to go for a speech contest, you need to think about a speech, think about a story, and rehearse it and master it and work on your vocal variety, work on your gestures and everything. And so all of this is part of the learning process. So the reason why I was into so many speech contests is because I was in the process of learning. And I think that I learned a lot, and I'm grateful. And the fact that I want to go for other speech contests is because I want to learn even more.
More. Yes, I can imagine if you have to learn and go for theory contests, it definitely takes a whole lot of your time. And it also shows that you value what you're doing, because if you don't put value in it, I don't see why you go for theory contest if it's not valuable for you. It just shows how valuable Toastmasters is to you in general. So I would like you to share on a professional or personal level how that all those contests, all those activities and everything you've been doing in Toastmasters has elevated you in a maybe personal or professional level.
I think that at the personal level, the communication skills you get in Toastmaster definitely help you every day, because you have the possibility and you know how to talk to anyone. You know how to interact with people. You know how to listen keenly to people. You know how to give your attention to people, because all of those skills are learned in Toastmaster. And you learn to be a better leader. You learn to be a better person as a whole. Professionally, today I can say that in the company for which I work, we have a lot of corporate events. And because of the ability, the communication ability that I have, I am called by my management to MC, moderate those events. So this actually is a recognition of your ability, the fact that you are competent to do something. Because there was a day, because a couple of days ago we had a major event at the company, and I was the MC of the event. And I was wondering, and I was saying, but why is it that among something like 500 employees,
Yeah.
I'm the one who is called for that? And I say, but if you're called for that, it's because they believe you can do the job, right? And you can do the job because you have learned it. And Toastmaster has given you a platform to learn it. And because they can see that you can deliver on the result they expect, they give you the job. So I think that in terms of personal transformation, it has done, a great deal to transform me. But also at the professional level, what I just shared with you is a proof that the Toastmaster method works, and it serves. I serve my company, and I'm proud to do it because I've learned to do it.
Thank you very much for accepting to answer all these questions. And
Pleasure.
I don't know, I hope I didn't put you on a hot seat.
Oh no, it's fine. It's fine.
Okay, thank you very much. And I would like you to give just one last message to anybody who is out there listening to you, who is maybe hesitating to take a step into developing themselves professionally, especially their communication skills. What's that one word or that one message you want them to hear that can motivate them to step into character and decide to pursue a career as good communicators?
I think that one of the major things that happens when we are born, they would tap you on the back to make sure that you cry. And that cry is because you cannot utter a word that you cry. But that cry actually is the meaning of life. You must communicate with other people. It's very important to communicate with other people. From the day you are born, you must communicate with other people in order to convey ideas, share, convince people, inspire people. It's very important. So what I can say to people is, if you're still hesitating, to communicate with people or to take a step to learn how to become a better communicator, you will lead it someday. At the end of it, you will lead it someday. And Toastmasters is a place, the motto of Toastmaster is where leaders are made, because there's a great connection between communication and leadership. So if you want to become a great communicator, if you want to become a great leader, you can join Toastmaster, and it's going to help you to become that.
Thank you very much for that last message. Thank you very much. I think the director behind the cameras is hearing all of that because he was hesitating when I was telling him to join Toastmasters and become a great speaker. So I hope he was convinced as well. And I'm hoping to receive your registration as the Vice President of Education of Golden Toastmasters. Back to back to the audience, ladies and gentlemen. You guys have heard what our amazing guest has said, and it was a pleasure and it was a wonderful moment sharing. And we have come to the end of today's edition of this podcast, and we are hoping that you would join us for the next session because, as you all know, the more we go, the better it becomes and the more interesting it becomes. Thank you very much for staying tuned to this channel, and see you in the next episode.